Hello again and welcome into another recipe review. This week, queso blanco. Since we are meeting online and we are not meeting on campus in any way, I wanted to take a chance to kind of sit down and go over this information with you. So hopefully you'll have a little bit of a better success in your recipe for this week. Don't forget, you will need to do an evaluation of this at the end. Do your recordings, your write-ups, reviews, and then submit it into the Blackboard for grading. So queso blanco, what we're looking at here is really simple. We're going to go through equipment and tools first, ingredients, procedures, and things of that nature. In this picture, you're going to see several things. You can purchase your cheesecloth at grocery stores. If you want to search online, you can actually find mousseline bags. New England Cheesemaker is a great source for equipment and things of that nature that you'll need for the process of this. I use a rubber spatula. Some people use wooden spoons. I'm not as big of a fan of those. Some people use metal spoons. Again, I'm not a fan of those. I like the high heat rubber spatulas better. You will need a thermometer for keeping up with the temperature of your milk, and then you will need some type of a mold. You can just use a mixing bowl if you would like, leaves it a little bit more crumblier, or you can actually use one of these types of molds here where we have a harder press in the back, applying weight to it, pushing more of the water out, which in this particular recipe I'm not as big of a fan of because it does make it a little drier. These ricotta molds in the front actually work great. They're smaller. They give you a really nice shape, and you can do other things with that. And lastly, the most important equipment you're going to need, non-aluminum pan. In this picture you see this is a stainless steel pan. It's a very thick bottom, heavy bottom, and that helps with temperature control of your milk. And for what we're doing, that's the basics. Ingredients you're going to need will be milk, vinegar, and salt. And you can see on this left side, we're using a gallon of milk, 1/4 of a cup of apple cider vinegar, and 2 tablespoons of kosher salt. That's all you need. But when you're making cheese, you can use heavy cream, milk, skim milk, cow's milk, goat's milk, sheep milk. Those are probably the 3 predominant ones that we will see. But based on the recipe, you'll change up some of the items that you're actually using. The acid may change to citric or tartaric. You may add a culture to it for a certain style. You may need calcium chloride or rennet to help larger mass of the development for the curds. So it depends on what you're doing. But for you, this week, milk, cider vinegar, and kosher salt. That's it. So here's the steps. This first picture, working from left to right, we're heating the milk up to 190 degrees. Once it hits 190, you add your vinegar. And you can kind of start to see in the first and second picture that kind of foamy look. This is kind of the beginning stage in kind of separating your curds and whey. We do that by the acidification process. Once they're separated, then we go into our cheesecloth or our mousseline bags. We're now separating curds and whey. Once the curds have been allowed to kind of drain down, then this very last picture, this is what your cheese should look like before you do anything else to it. When you get to this stage, this is when you actually add your salt. You can cut the curds up a little bit smaller if you're developing a little bit of a firmer style cheese, but for you guys, just mix that salt in, let it rest, and you're good to go. Taking this into another project assignment you'll do, you're incorporating other ingredients to it, you're using it in recipes, taking pictures and kind of showing how you've utilized it. This first picture on the bottom, we just took a basil oil and mixed it in. Then we molded it to give us this shape. I can now use this in salads, I can use it in soups, I can use it in sandwiches, I can use it in quesadillas. I can put it out just like it is on a buffet. There's a lot of things I can do with that. But that's where you guys get to kind of explore what you've learned, what you've read about, looking at other recipes, and then actually putting it into play. taste it. You'll like it. Here's the final product also where we've let the cheese sit for 2 days in a mold. And that is really what it kind of looks like, is once it's set and kind of aged and ripened just a little bit, it actually forms a beautiful curd, a beautiful cheese like this. And these are some other examples too of plating that other folks have kind of done, just kind of playing around and submitting them. You got peppers and walnuts on one, the basil oil on the other, a pesto oil. It's just a lot of different uses for this. So think outside the box when it comes time for you to do that. And I hope you come up with a really good idea on what to do with it. So the last thing I'm going to leave with you, and this is across the board for anything, any cheese that you make, control your temperature. Do not burn the milk. If you burn your milk and it gets mixed into that curd, you cannot get it out. It's stuck. So just kind of keep an eye on that. Last thing is, this is one of the websites that I've used for gathering some of this information. Again, New England Cheesemaker, Lenners.com are two great sources for all the equipment and ingredients that you're going to need. So hopefully you've enjoyed this part. Go make your cheese, report back, and if you have any trouble, let me know. I hope you enjoy it.